Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to the Daily here on MLSsoccer.com. I am Josh Weisenhunt.
And I'm Greg Lawless. And on Thursday night, everyone was watching all the CCL action. A couple more MLS teams on the field. The Houston Dynamo did not get it done. A 1-0 loss in Panama to Arabe Unido knocks them out of the action. The LA Galaxy also lost 4-0 to Isidro Metapan, but it really didn't matter. The Galaxy already through to the knockout stages. So, 3 MLS teams into the quarterfinals. The Galaxy, San Jose Earthquakes, and Sporting Kansas City. But, Josh, that's all in the past now. We're looking ahead because this is the final weekend of regular season action in MLS.
Yes, and we cannot wait. Greg, let's talk about the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference sort of got itself sorted out last weekend.
Yeah, well, everything except seeding right now. So
for sure, but in the East, we still have 5 teams that are gunning for 3 spots. So, I mean, it's just going to be wild to watch.
It's a little chaotic, and the scenarios of who could make it in and how require a PhD or, sitting with Stephen Hawking or something to figure this all out. Right, here's what's going on. You have 5 clubs, as you mentioned, gunning for 3 spots. New York and Sporting Kansas City at the top, they're in. After that, Montreal, Chicago, New England. On the outside looking in, Houston and Philadelphia. Amazingly, none of those 5 teams play against each other. So they all have to do what they can do for themselves and then hope that something happens on the other side.
All right, well, let's handicap this.
All right, do it.
Quick.
Go.
We're going to go through match by match. Starting off Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, NBC Sports Network, Sporting Kansas City, Philadelphia Union at PPL.
This is going to be a big one, obviously, and I think Philadelphia gets the victory. I think Connor Casey's going to have a big game in this one, and maybe my guy Jack Mack is going to come up with another goal, another vital goal after going through that stretch, that slump. Philly's going to get 3 points in this one. It's going to knock Sporting Kansas City out of the Supporters' Shield question, but most importantly, it's going to put the pressure on everybody else in the East gunning for those spots because they'll get it done early and then they get to watch.
All right, kicking off 1 hour after that one, 4 p.m. Eastern, Montreal, they take a trip to BMO Field to face their Canadian rivals, Toronto FC. How do we feel about the Impact right now?
Well, I think that the Impact, despite some of their struggles late in the season, they have some difference makers. Obviously, DeVayo knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. They got a win last week to get a little bit of momentum, and I think that Patrice Bernier is still one of the best players in MLS and can change a game in that midfield himself. So I think they get a victory at Toronto.
All right, Greg, we talked about him at the top of the show. If there's one club that is reeling right now, it's the Houston Dynamo. They had their destiny taken from them last weekend with that loss to New York. They travel to RFK to take on DC United Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. How do you see this one going?
This is a big one for the Houston Dynamo. They rested their starters for the CCL game on Thursday night, so the pressure's on. Now, did Dominic Kinnear make the right decision in this one? Can they push through? You're right. Their destiny is not in their hands. They're going to have to get a victory and hope that all kinds of things happen for all the other teams. But if they get that victory early on Sunday, it puts pressure on some of the other teams that are just ahead of them later on in those games.
All right, and there are a couple. We're not even
I didn't even handicap. Hang on a second.
Right.
Here's my choice. Yes, Houston gets the victory in this one. They go to DC and they get 3 points.
Wow. All right, we got 2 games left. We're not even close to being done right here.
We're a little close. We're getting closer.
4 p.m. Eastern, Columbus and New England. New England, this is the second part of their 2-game series. Obviously, the Revs came up with a huge win at Gillette against the Crew last weekend. What do we see in this one?
All right, well, here's the deal. I love this New England Revolution team. I love the way they play. Their midfield, they have a lot of skill. I think the injury to Sayer Sen is going to be bigger than they think, ultimately, in the end. And I think that they're going to go to Columbus, and this is a Crew team that has talent, has ability, and I think wants to prove that they can play spoiler in this one. So I think they do spoil it. I think New England does not get the 3 points that they need in order to advance to the playoffs in this one.
All right.
Tough one, huh?
Final one. This one's big for 2 reasons. New York and Chicago, 5 p.m. Eastern on Unimas. New York obviously are gunning for that Supporters' Shield. Yep. They win their first major trophy. Chicago, they need to win also. They need to get in this thing as well. What do we think?
Yeah, depending on the results, Chicago could actually stay in with a draw or even a loss, depending on all the results ultimately. But if my predictions are correct, they're going to need 3 points in this one, and they're not going to get it. That's the reality. I think this New York team is feeling so loose. They're feeling confident in a way that no New York team has in the past. In the past, it's been a fragile confidence. This time, it seems like it's just a cool confidence, and they are ready to go. I think New York gets 3 points. They win the Supporters' Shield, and the Chicago Fire in trouble in terms of the playoffs.
Well, that does it for all the games in the Eastern Conference. Greg, based on your predictions, how does it all shake out on this last weekend?
Well, you end up with New York at number 1, Sporting Kansas City at number 2, Montreal finishing 3, Houston finishing 4, and I've got Chicago at 5, because although Philly will get the victory against Sporting Kansas City and Chicago I think will lose to New York, Philly cannot catch Chicago based on total wins for the season. They'll be tied on points, but Chicago will have more wins.
All right, there you have it. Make sure you get yourself over to MLSsoccer.com/schedule. It's going to be a wild final weekend, especially in that Eastern Conference. Well, at West, Greg, we pretty much know who's in, who's out at this point. So this weekend is all about seeding. Chivas versus Portland, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. Obviously, the Timbers, they can take back that first place in the Western Conference. Do you think they're going to do it?
I actually do, but I think it's all dependent on whether Diego Valeri plays and how much, because I think he is the key to this. He's their engine that makes this all go. I love Darlington Nagbe, and he's like their second engine. They're like a twin engine. They're like one of those twin prop planes or something like that. You need both of them to be running. But I think they need Valeri in this. It's a Chivas team that, although they lost 2-1 midweek to RSL, they actually did okay. They fought. They are fighting for pride right now. So it's going to be tougher than Portland wanted to be necessarily, but I think they get the 3 points. They take first place in the Western Conference. An amazing turnaround considering the last 2 years for them.
All right, another big one out west. This is the final match of the 2013
grand finale.
MLS regular season, the grand finale, whatever you want to call it. Seattle, LA. 9 p.m. Eastern Sunday night on ESPN. What do you think?
Well, considering Seattle's struggles right now, the 4 losses in a row heading into the final game, a little bit of a bust up with Eddie Johnson sort of excused from practice because he's a little disgruntled, supposedly. But I think that Seattle is actually going to come out of this one and pick it up. They're going to find their rhythm. They're going to find something. They have to find something. I think Mauro Rosales is really important. And I think the Galaxy right now, they figure, okay, we got to the playoffs. We're good to go. They had their game in CCL on Thursday. Get some rest. Get ready for the playoffs. Make sure you finish in 3rd place, because you do not want to be in that knockout round in midweek. So I think that the Galaxy will do whatever they need to do just to make sure they finish in 3rd, and then they can go into the playoffs and do what the Galaxy seem to always do, which is win in the playoffs.
Take care of business.
Take care of TCB.
There you go. Lots on the line in the Western Conference in terms of seeding. Make sure you check out Seattle and LA. Again, that one's Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's the last game of the regular season. You can get all the lead up and all the coverage on MLSsoccer.com.